Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Megx Moviez. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and to today's video, so let's just get straight back into it. Okay, and I am back with another episode of Original versus Remake. I've enjoyed doing the series so far. I want to try and catch up on a lot more ideas that I have. So let's just get straight on to the match, and today we are doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We are doing the original 1990 version against the 2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, growing up, this was one of my favourite films of my childhood, and then when they come out with the remake, I was a bit about it. But I'm now going to let you guys know which one I prefer the most. Is it going to be the original or the remake? So I'm doing things slightly different in this episode. I would normally be standing and doing the conversation, but I feel like it's just better to talk to you guys sitting down, feel a bit more personal in that way. So yes, I'm going to start by talking about the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I honestly cannot remember how I got into this film. I think maybe my dad or my mum or my nan, someone put it on and I fell in love with it, and then ever since then I've always loved it. So my thoughts on this one, basically this was the first thing I had ever seen of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've never seen the animated stuff or anything like that, and I was quite surprised. I love the animatronics in this film, the puppetry in this as well, the costumes look amazing. I love the story as well, and I love the characters as well. My absolute favourite is Michelangelo. My favourite character is Leonardo, but I also do like Michelangelo, Leonardo and Raphael. So basically, if you don't know what Teenage Mutant Turtles are, basically they are these turtles that, in this version, were found in a sewer running around in this ooze. And this is why they became big and tall, and obviously Splinter took care of them and taught ninjutsu because he learnt from his master. So he wanted to teach them as well, and they became his kids. And then they're now at the age where they can now go out and sort of like help save the public. And of course that's when they meet April O'Neil. I love April O'Neil in this film. She's very genuine. I love the actress. And then of course in this film you do get Casey Jones, who teams up with him in the end. He does go up against Raphael at first, and then they have a little bit of a tiff. But I like Casey and Raphael's sort of like relationship, kind of. I think that's how you put it. But I love the storyline in this, and it's like the costumes look amazing. Splinter looks amazing, and the fighting looks really good in this as well. It's very 90s, so it's basically, if you feel nostalgic for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, definitely recommend watching this one, because watching it today before filming this, it brought back so many memories. I felt so nostalgic. The effects are so nostalgic. But this is what I love, is that no CGI was used in this. None. Well, at least from what I could see, there was none. And I like the fact that the turtles were like animatronic puppet outfits. And funnily enough, story to go with this, I actually met the guy that was in the Michelangelo suit at London Film and Comic Con, and he told me sort of like how hot it would get in the suits and how heavy the suits were, and I couldn't believe it. And I also got a signed photo as well. But overall thoughts of this film, I'm going on a rant. I really love this film, such a classic. My first ever Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. I will never get bored of this, I'll always watch this. And yeah, overall a really good film. Now to talk about the remake, the 2014 remake. So basically it's pretty much the same plot line, except this time the differences are basically the turtles were raised in a lab by April O'Neil. April O'Neil's dad is now a scientist. And basically she saves them from a fire, and she then meets them when they've grown up. Splinter this time also learned ninjutsu from a book instead of a sensei, and basically they've got to try and save New York, and obviously April O'Neil comes across them. So thoughts on this one. I was a bit apprehensive at first about this film because for me, when it comes to a remake, I'm like, why touch such a good original? Because honestly, sometimes remakes can go wrong. I honestly didn't mind this. At first I didn't really like it, but then after watching it today, seeing as I haven't watched it for a while, I actually really enjoyed it. I forgot how much I actually enjoyed it. There's one scene where they're in the elevator and they're using their weapons to sort of like beatbox. It's so funny. But what I will say that I am disappointed about is the fact that there's CGI. I mean, I get it, technology's gotten far. They do look good CGI, but at the same time, I feel like the animatronic puppets were a lot better. I also didn't like Shredder in this film. He wasn't very good. Like, I don't know why, but I just couldn't get into Shredder as a villain. And Megan Fox, she actually did alright in this film. But say aside from obviously Shredder and the CGI and that, it ain't a too bad film. It does live up to it, and I think it does modernise it for the modern audience, which is good. It doesn't sort of like ruin it in any way. But I do like Mike in this film as well, actually. I was quite worried that I was like, because you've got to try and live up to that expectation. And honestly, it actually isn't too bad a storyline either. Will Arnett's in this film as well. We don't get Casey though. For some reason, Casey don't turn up until the second film of this remake. Don't know why, but there you go. At least they wanted to go a different route. What I will say though is I didn't realise this. They repeated a scene that was in the first one, just a little bit shorter though. In the first movie, there is a pizza cutting scene where he throws the pizza in the air, cuts it, and then one slice lands on Splinter's head. I didn't realise they did this in this film. After watching it a second time through properly, I was like, great, they repeated one scene. I was kind of hoping it'd be all original stuff, because that's what it was. It was literally all new stuff, a different way of telling it. But then they put that one scene in, and I was just like, did you really have to repeat that scene? Oh, and I love the comic book opening style of this. It's so cool to see it comic book style as well. But yeah, so it was a good opening, a good film. Definitely recommend watching this if you want to get your kids into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they're not really into all that 90s stuff and they're more into like the modern stuff. Definitely recommend this one for the kids to watch if you want to get them into Teenage Mutant Turtles. Okay, so to give you my final thoughts. So, overall, both good films, but if I had to choose one that I'd always watch on repeat, that I'd never get bored of, that I'll never get disappointed on, it would be the original 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the flat out winner. So even though I do like the remake, I think this one will always be my favourite. I think it'll always be the better version. But say the second one does come close. But this one will always be my absolute favourite. Okay, and I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. Do leave a comment down below which one you prefer. Do you prefer the original? Do you prefer the remake? Let me know down below, because I like hearing your guys' opinions on films. If you are new to this channel and you want to check out more of my videos and other episodes of this series, do click on the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I will put a link down in the description below of my original versus remake playlist. And I'll see you guys in my next one.